This is Andi Purewal for Boxing Social in association with Betfred, and I'm joined by Mick Hennessy Jr. over Zoom. Mick, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing great. Thanks, Andy. How about yourself?
I'm getting by, mate. I'm getting by. Obviously, beautiful weather. I'll say that it's been snowing today, but it has been beautiful weather for the past week or so. How about you? How are things getting on now? Obviously, in camp once again, getting ready for another bout on May 22nd.
Yeah, that's right. Camp's well underway. I'm sparring 2 or 3 times a week. So, yeah, things are getting serious now. It's the training stepped up, and I'm starting to feel a lot more tired. It's like I'm getting ready for bed straight after this interview. I'll be up at 5. It's getting serious now. So, playtime's over.
Mick, how would you assess your career so far? 5-1-1. Obviously, the defeat was one which I've just caught many by surprise. Jamie Stewart, but I believe it was his debut coming in on that fight. Just kind of going back over your career so far, how would you assess it?
I'd say it's been a very tough start to boxing career for a young fighter. I turned pro when I was 19, and very unlucky as well. The draw came in my second fight. I went out to Saudi Arabia. I fought a lad, Farhad Hazratada, an Afghani fighter, who done well in the amateurs for Afghanistan. And it was a majority draw. The one judge gave it to me and the other two scored it a draw. I personally felt I won the fight 3-1, definitely. But it is what it is. He was relentless, and he was a real wild card. It was a very hard fight for a 19-year-old in their second pro fight. And then the Jamie Stewart one, like you say, it was a big shock to me as well. He was 1-0 at the time. And, before those two fights, just after lockdown, the first two after lockdown, they were very close together, 2 weeks apart. I wasn't ready. I was doing my own thing at home. I wasn't sparring at all. I wasn't mixing with anyone because I have at home I have people who were on the vulnerable list at the time. So I was hardly mixing at all. I was hitting the bag in my garage at home. That was pretty much it, other than doing a little bit of technical sparring with my little 16-year-old sister. And I started working with my new trainer, Junior Saba, about 2 weeks before the first fight. And that's when I realized how out of condition I was, because all the other stuff was at my own pace. And I had a couple of spars before those two fights, and I was just terrible. I wasn't myself. I wasn't what I was like before lockdown when I was sparring properly and stuff. And it was a little bit ignorant of me to go in to the ring in that sort of shape for those two fights. I clearly wasn't myself. But, given the climate, I thought I'd be all right. I thought I'd get through it, no problem. But given the climate, it was also very, it was silly to pass up dates. You had to take up all the dates you can. They were very valuable because, no one knew what was going to happen with COVID. So, I wasn't in great shape for those two fights. I still believe I won the fight against Jamie Stewart. To be honest, I definitely believe I won it on the cleaner shots. I was surprised I didn't get it. And, it just is what it is. I wasn't, everything was going wrong, to be honest with you. Like the night before the fight as well, I ate something dodgy in the hotel. I was on the toilet. Everything I was eating and drinking was going straight through me. And I was 5 or 6 pounds lighter than I was on the weigh-in the day before. And, the energy just wasn't there in the fight, the Jamie Stewart fight. So you can tell, if you watch that fight back, you can see I'm not myself. But to be honest with you, I think it's a blessing in disguise, because it really hurt me, that defeat, and it's turned me into a real professional, and it's made me a bit more spiteful, which I believe I needed, definitely.
Mick, we all know about. Sorry, just pause for a second.
No, I was just going to say, because I've always been a bit too sportsmanlike, and boxing's a brutal game, and you can't, you can't be like that. You got to be spiteful.
Mick, I was just going to say, we all know about the success your father's had in the sport for many years. He's built up the careers of many brilliant fighters, Tyson Fury's worked with Carl Froch, amongst others. Just kind of with yourself, do you feel the pressure when you are boxing on his shows to not necessarily live up to the names of those two that I've just mentioned, but to go out there and to impress, to go out there and to try to reach the heights of which your father's been at before?
You know, I don't really feel the pressure. I've been doing this since I was 11 years old. I had over 100 fights as an amateur, but at the same time, I don't feel the pressure because of all that. But I want to make a name for myself. I don't want to just be Mick Hennessy's son, the promoter's son. I want people to be like, damn, like Mick's lucky to have had his son. You know, he's a great fighter. I want to, you know, be known on my own merit. But of course, it's, you know, I'm very lucky to have the dad I do, and you know, seeing all his accomplishments, you know, only motivates me. So,
Mick, talk to me about kind of May 22nd. Then, have you got any idea as to who you'll be facing? We haven't had an official announcement yet, as far as I'm aware.
No, I'm not really sure who I'll be fighting. I just leave that down to the matchmakers. I'll fight anyone. It's no problem to me. From what I know, I think I'll be having a couple more learning fights and then stepping up to an 8-rounder soon. I'll have a couple 8-rounders before the end of the year, definitely.
Something I was going to ask you, do you have an idea in your own mind as to how you would at least like the remainder of this year to play out, and whereabouts do you think by the end of this year it will leave you with regards to the domestic scene?
I'll be looking to have had a 10-rounder before the year's out, and looking to push for some sort of title next year, whether it be Southern area, English, Irish, or like one of the youth belts. We'll see where I'm at and how my progression is going, but that's the target, definitely a title next year.
Mick, obviously boxing with the likes of Sam Egginton on the card, Shakan Peters, who previously was a British champion. You know, learning off those guys in these fight bubbles, what are those experiences like for yourself?
Oh, it's brilliant, you know, because I'm sort of out the stable. I'm like the baby of the group. I'm the young one, and these guys have been around the block for a while now. And you know, they've all accomplished great things. Like say, British champion, British, and then Sam's British, European, Commonwealth. He's won all them. And of course, you got Isaac Chamberlain, Alex Dilmagani. The list goes on. The McKennas, and you know, it's just like it's great to pick up knowledge from these guys who are boxing at such an elite level, and they've been there and done it at a good level, you know. So it's hopefully all that's rubbing off on me, and you know, I've picked a lot up from them.
Mick, just before I let you go now, because it is getting a little late, I'm sure you want to get to sleep and get ready for tomorrow and the ventures ahead for yourself. What would you like to say to everyone who will tune in on May 22nd, will tune in for the rest of this year, and will continue to follow and support you from there on afterwards?
I'd just like to say, you know, expect a great performance. You know, I'm improving in the gym all the time. I'm looking to put on a great performance for you guys. It's going to be a tremendous card with a lot of 50-50 fights on there and a lot of great title fights. So don't miss out.
Mick, it's been a pleasure to catch up with you. I will keep in touch with you and speak to you again soon. Thank you for speaking to Boxing Social.
Nice one, Andy. Thanks a lot, mate.